Hello everyone, I'm Kenshin. Welcome to Talk History. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Also, don't forget to turn on notifications. Thank you. Today's historical discussion is: did bad wine spark the French Revolution? Almost everyone is familiar with the French Revolution, often seen as the birth of modern democracy. However, besides what's found in textbooks and works like Victor Hugo's Les Misérables, the other triggers of the French Revolution might come as a surprise. On July 10, 1789, at a private tax collection company located at the Barrière Papillon in Paris, a man suspected of smuggling wine was searched by tax collectors. At that moment, stones were thrown from a nearby building, hitting the tax collectors. The following day, hundreds of citizens armed with picks, shovels, and stones prepared to attack the wall of the St. Martin Gate in response to this incident. Later that day, news of the dismissal of Jacques Necker, the finance minister, spread. Apart from concerns about potential tax increases, this dismissal angered the people of Paris. Another group attacked the Barrière Blanche, marking the beginning of the Gate War, Guerre des Barrières, and setting the stage for the French Revolution. On the afternoon of July 12, demonstrators in the Tuileries Garden carried a bust of Necker, which had been removed and covered in black, and drove the crowd towards Prince de Lambesc at Place de la Concorde. He, too, faced the crowd's wrath with wine bottles thrown at him. In just 2 days, July 12 and 13, a total of 55 gates in Paris were burned down. At this time, wine merchants and grape growers also joined the protest, chanting slogans like, "Long live the 3-sou wine," "Down with the 12-sou wine." Later, people launched attacks across Paris under the guise of the Third Estate, including the looting of private wine cellars of tax collection companies and even attacks on ports unloading wine. On the 14th, the Bastille prison was officially stormed, an event many consider as the iconic moment of the French Revolution. However, for many Parisians, the Bastille prison paled in comparison to the tax buildings and surrounding walls, which they saw as the true symbols of tyranny. Their demands were simple: to drink wine at reasonable prices. But why did such a simple demand lead to protest? In 1784, the French monarchy decided to build walls around Paris to facilitate tax collection on goods entering the city, including wine. In 1785, architect Claude Nicolas Ledoux linked 57 gates with a 24-kilometer wall. The main purpose was to include dance halls north of Paris. Why? At that time, the French monarchy controlled the import and consumption of wine, burdening the common people. Officially, it was to control excessive red wine consumption. But the real reason was to generate enormous tax revenues. As for the dance halls inside the walls, in late 18th century Paris, 500,000 citizens could drink a liter of wine here at a quarter of the city's prices. However, if included within the city walls, with taxes added, it became unaffordable. Although the taxes weren't high, for the monarchy, it was a profitable deal, while for the people, it meant greater suffering. Today, French wine is world-renowned. But before the outbreak of the 18th century revolution, Paris and its neighboring regions had over 24,000 hectares of vineyards, making it the most important wine-producing region at the time. The low-quality piquette wine, meaning mediocre or watered-down wine, was commonly consumed by the general populace. Due to the presence of the walls, wine smuggling was widespread in 1789. With the revolutionary atmosphere in society, tax collectors and judges were hesitant to impose strict penalties. For instance, in a report on July 1, 1788, the king and Parisian prosecutors mentioned the nearly 80 iron transport pipes underground from tax offices. Some even constructed protruding rooftops to bypass tax offices, smuggling up to 5,000 liters of wine every night. So, the wall of taxation was abhorred by Parisians, seen as a symbol of Louis XVI's despotism. Knocking down this wall was more meaningful than occupying the Bastille prison. But after the French monarchy was overthrown and the National Assembly took over, did the situation improve? The answer is no. In 1790, nearly 500,000 hectoliters of wine were taxed, a clear display of ingratitude by so-called revolutionaries. Historian Hippolyte Taine in the 19th century disdainfully remarked, "The agitators are the scum of society, because the lower class just wants cheap wine." Even so, is it wrong for the lower class to desire inexpensive wine? This is the arrogance of intellectuals. Even though the National Constituent Assembly abolished all market entry taxes in 1791, on October 18, 1798, the market entry relief tax reappeared. In 1832, a carpenter asked, "Why can't we have wine with our meals?" Without detestable laws, a glass of wine wouldn't cost 7 sous, but only 4. Because of the market entry tax, workers are forced to drink cheaper distilled spirits, which destroys family relationships and health. The 1848 revolution became, "Long live reform. Down with market entry taxes." Even into the 19th century, the market entry tax remained a symbol that needed to be overthrown. A star emerged among the employees of the market entry tax, French post-impressionist painter Henri Rousseau, who served as a second-class tax collector from 1870 to 1893. Tax collector Rousseau became his nickname. He died in 1910 due to gangrene at Necker Hospital in Paris, but the death certificate stated alcohol poisoning. In 1894, an article titled "Down with Market Entry Taxes" was published, with the author stating that if Paris insisted on taxing wine, the provinces would refuse to accept goods sent from the capital. This troubling market entry tax for Parisians had to wait until 1943, Vichy France, yes, the French regime supported by Nazi Germany, when Prime Minister Laval ordered its abolition in 1948. Thanks to this decree, since then, wine has finally been able to enter Paris without taxation. Behind profoundly impactful events, the causes are often not singular factors. Just as in the French Revolution, many people's demands were simply to have a sip of inexpensive wine, but in many textbooks today, it has vanished. This kind of blunt attitude can make history lose its diversity. Do you find this historical period interesting? Feel free to share your thoughts.